Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another movie review, another superhero review for the 90s era of superhero movies. Hope you all enjoyed my review of Darkman on Sunday. And if you saw my community post, I said I'll be reviewing 2 sequels. Now I'll be reviewing some other superhero sequels, just a couple of them. Not a whole lot, but some of them. And I figured, since I reviewed since I reviewed Darkman, might as well review the sequels. And I am starting with, it's just 2 sequels, and hopefully I can get these done today. I just want to go ahead and get them done. And that is, I am reviewing the 1995 direct-to-video sequel starring Arnold Falasso, and Levy Drake coming back as Robert Durant, and that is Darkman 2, The Return of Durant. Yes. Which honestly, I was not really a big fan of this movie. I thought it was just meh. I thought it was alright. I was just not a fan of this movie, Yeah, I just didn't care for it. I'll get into reasons why, but yeah, this sequel could have potential, but definitely some of the issues that, the miscasting of Arnold Falasso as Darkman just didn't work for me. Yeah, but anyway, I'll get more into that later in the review. But starting off with it, like I said, is a direct-to-video film. It's directed by Bradford May, who I never heard of. I guess he's never directed any other movies, okay. But you do have Sam Raimi, who is an executive producer on this movie. Arnold Falasso succeeds Liam Neeson as the character. Production. Development, the original Darkman was a modest success in theaters, because Darkman, when it came out, it did make a good amount of money, and it did get on video. Didn't make a huge money at the box office, but made more money on home video, and it kind of became a cult hit. I would say Darkman is definitely a cult classic. It became a hit, and a lot of people liked it. I had to say so. That's why it made money. But surely, of course, after it was released, major rental chain Blockbuster Video appealed to Universal for a sequel. Because, Blockbuster was the thing that, I remember Blockbuster and stuff, and you can go buy movies on that. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the 90s. But the studios was enthusiastic about a terrific follow-up, as the original was good, not great receipts, combined with the unusual decrease in revenue incurred by sequels, made it a risky proposition. The pilot for potential series, which featured Larry Drake as Robert G. Durant, but was more reboot than sequel, was shot in early 1982. It was considered by Fox alongside another Pictures show Atlantis to be only the second was picked up. Later that year, Universal announced that it would retool the Darkman franchise as a pair of direct-to-video films. Darkman 2 was billed as the first direct-to-video live-action film produced under, hopefully quality's not too bad, under the Universal Pictures banner. However, by a number of television films made by Universal Television, MCA Television Entertainment, had already been released on physical media by Universal Home Video. Among those were sequels to Universal classics like Psycho 4 and The Birds 3. While those premiered on Showtime before the video release, the concept was similar. In fact, half the budget for the Darkman sequels came from Universal's television division, while the rest came from its home video division. TV veteran Bradford May, who had directed 2 features for MTV, was originally approached to helm some Hercules television films that registered as tape for MCA action-packed syndication package. He could not come to financial and creative terms with the production, but was offered the Darkman sequels as an alternative and accepted. David Russell, already produced on the unreleased Darkman pilot in the short-lived Mantis, was the main producer in charge of both sequels. During production, the screenplay was credited by Stephen McKay and Chuck Buffer, a co-writer on the original. The player was not mentioned in the final film. Lawrence Hitchbury, who wrote one of the screenplay drafts, received a story credit, as did MCA Robert Isley, writer of The Birds 3, The Birds 2. The action-packed Vanishing Sun and unreleased Darkman pilot. May says he also performed a couple of uncredited rewrites. And although it was clear which of the sequels they contributed, Canadian composer Paul Sazus was originally approached to score one or both of the sequels. He declined out of rotation longtime friend Bob Clark, who had a job lined up for him, but he later regretted turning down the opportunity for Raimi. Arnold Falasso was approached to take over the role of Pay Presley during the filming of another production, Hard Target, in which he really want to have the villains do well. Yeah, Hard Target was 1993. Random sprinkle of Rennie O'Connor then between roles as Darkman Gabriel also appears in the movie. Both Darkman 2 and Darkman 3 were filmed in Toronto with much of the same crew. The films were shot in quick session, although not directly back to back. A 4-week break was planned between two shoots, but it was extended after the Northwich earthquake. Due to Willie Drake's prior commitments, his sequel was shot second, although it ended up being released first. For this reason, the film was known as the start of the production as Darkman 2, Durant Returns. Photography was listed as starting on March 15, 1994. The Returns ran with a budget by $4 million. Special makeup effects were overseen by frequent Raimi collaborators. His effects group. Each of the single-use masks, one by also cost $10,000. According to May, the opening car chase featured the first cannon-based role in the history of the Toronto film industry. Darkman 2 was screened at the AMC Theater in presence of Arnold Wilson and several executives on video. Since some of the effects were low budget, you can definitely tell with the director. This is a direct-to-video film. Some of the effects you can tell are that. They decided just to do a direct-to-video. And I've heard that they did try to make a pilot or TV series for Darkman, but it didn't work. One critic said Darkman 2 lost the comic experience present in the first movie and its place with a straight-up action flick with some major plot holes. The film was followed by a third and final movie, Darkman 3, Darkman Die, with Arnold also returning, and you got a new story and a new villain in that movie. So anyway, as I said, the film is directed by Bradford May, screenplays by Stephen McFay, stories by Albert Esley, Lawrence Fishburne. The characters are created by Sam Raimi, who of course created Darkman in the first place, produced by Dave Russell. Cinematography by Bradford May, is edited by Daniel Kane. The music is by Randy Miller, but the main theme is they use it here. Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman did not work on these movies, but I guess they do use his theme for Darkman in this film, in the opening credits. It was released July 11th, 1995 on direct-to-video. It was 93 minutes long. The budget was $4 million. Yeah, for that kind of budget, you can tell why some of the effects didn't work in this movie. But to give you a quick plot synopsis of this movie. I guess you could say it's probably, there was a timeline, but I'm guessing like a year, probably after the first movie. Is that scientist Peyton Westlake returns to his lab, believing he has disposed of his nemesis mobster Robert G. Durant, who gave him the hideous burns that transformed him into his alter ego Darkman. While Darkman is perfecting an alternative skin that will restore his old appearance, Durant rapidly returns to torment him. Overcome by rage, Darkman disguises himself with the ultraviolet skin, setting out to infiltrate Durant's world and bring him to justice. Well, get his revenge. Also, though, Durant, of course, is back from that dead because the return to Durant figured Durant's back, but he died in the first movie when he blew up in a helicopter, but apparently he's alive. But this is the movies, so reality is out of the question, it's just fantasy. But Durant, once he used a super weapon, they're like jumping into science fiction with this movie, so it's like he wants to use a super weapon to make money off of him. And Payne gets to know this doctor who all of a sudden, who he kind of becomes friends with, but he gets murdered, and of course Darkman must, and his friend has a sister, and they try to make her, because they want his building. So of course in the movie Darkman is attempting to try and stop Durant and get his revenge on him. Yeah. But the movie, I'll talk about the movie itself, so Darkman 2. So it pretty much opens up with, with Payne explaining, you see Which, okay, right off the beginning, I didn't like is that they're recapping the first movie. I guess they're trying to say, like, well, this is Darkman. Probably trying to just let you know that this is a Darkman, a sequel to Darkman. So I guess because viewers don't get confused, which I don't know who would. I mean, I wouldn't. Darkman 2, I mean, I think I know that. I definitely tell it is, but they open up the title, you know, you get to see him in the lab again with a lighter, you know, and him being blown up, and him becoming Darkman, and him getting his revenge, you know, kind of recap of the first movie of Peyton narrating. And, you know, you have this couple in the beginning, these criminals who were shooting at the police. This guy's like, I'm gonna effing do this, I'm gonna effing do this, I'm gonna effing, you know, so over the top. So the acting in here is just bad, I think. That's just me. But, so over the top, and eventually they get killed. He's about to kill this lady. He's like, later, bitch. You know, he leaves. Darkman, you know, knocks him down. You know, throws some evidence at him, gets him arrested. You just see what it's like, you know, trying to test his skin, and he's trying to perfect it still. He's trying to get his face back. But it can only last 99 minutes. So, you know, you see him get his mail or just walking around with a buggy. Of course, with the cloaking dagger and, you know, the bandaged mask on him. Because he can't really show people his face, because it would terrify people. But when you do see his face, you know, I do like one thing, though, when you see Peyton. He pretty much lives under a, you know, kind of, you know, under a train station, because the warehouse he lived in was blown up by Durant and his men when they attacked him in the first film. So, and he's got, like, this train, you know, telling him it's clear. He's got his own little train, which I thought was pretty cool on that. You see him doing his test, and it's not working. It makes him mad. And the makeup, just doesn't work, in my opinion. And the first movie, when you see the makeup at the climax, it's awesome. It looks fantastic. You know, I thought the makeup looked great. You know, on him, on Lemonese I'm talking about. But in here, I was not a fan of the makeup. It looked silly for me. I just didn't like it. You know, but that's just me. Meanwhile, the Robert G. Durant, who was believed to have been killed, apparently he survived. I guess they grabbed his burning body. Doctors have been testing him. His name comes out. Is he ready yet? Is he ready? And, you know, you just see Durant come back, and he has these headaches, these migraines that he needs to take. He's got to take pills for that. You know. And he's like, and he realized that his business is going downhill. So he's like, gentlemen, we're going to run business. We're going to take some, you know, we're going to start selling. His plan is to create super weapons that he'll be, you know, the highest crime boss in the city. And one guy says to him, well, why don't you take a break? Why don't you just, you know, retire for a while, Mr. Durant? He's like, he said, you idiot, I'm not retiring. You will run downhill. But when Peyton roams the streets to collect his supplies, there's one scene I kind of like where this, you know, orphan, say for, you know, little girl on the streets, he kisses her, he's like, here you go, you know. She's like, thank you, and he's like, give her a little smile. I kind of like that little moment on that. He reads this science magazine on a doctor who, like him, is working on the scientific skin. I'm not a scientist, I can't say it right, but his name is Dr. David Brinkman. But two of Durant's henchmen, Eddie and Rollo, approached Dr. Blankman to ask him to sell his property. They said, you know, they asked Blankman, can you sell? He's like, no, you're not interested. I'm not selling my place. And they're basically just talking about they're going to make him do it until, you know, Peyton, of course, in his Arnold Russell face, you know, and his mask, says, is there a problem here? He's like, no. And they walk off, you know, and he tells them that he would like to part with him, that he could be contacting him, because he believes that Dr. Brinkman can help him get his face back. They do offer Brinkman $1 million, but, you know, he rejects it. Durant is playing golf on the top of his building, and then he asks his man, one of his henchmen, Rolo. He's like, Rolo, you're good. Come and join us. And Durant's pissed at him. Durant even hits him in the face with a golf club, knocking his teeth out, asking him, that you took, he pretty much, he stole like 5% of his drug shipment from the last 800 days of his absence, and he pretty much stole the golf club. Not but he's been stealing his money, and Durant's like, what the fuck is my money? Rolo. And so they put him in a golf cart, tie him up on there, and send him up to the main building to his death. I'm like, whoa, that was a pretty good death scene, though. Then Durant gets a mad scientist named Dr. Albert Hathaway, who's in the loony bin, and this guy is over top. He looks like Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. Like I said, this guy I thought was just, his acting was bad. I thought, I'm sorry. It's because of this, he's like, I don't like meatloaf! It's really over the top. I forgot to mention the cast, too. Of course, with the cast, you have Arnold Veloso as Dr. Payne, with Wesley Darkman, Lady Trick as Robert Durant, Kim Daly as Jill Randolph, Renee O'Connor as Lori Brinkman, Lawrence Dan as Dr. Edward Brathwaite, Jesse Collins as Dr. David Brinkman, Dave Veer as Eddie Scully, Rod Wilson, Catherine Swain. Okay, just some of the cast I mentioned. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, he breaks up this. Anyway, after Durant brings out Doc Brown, he wants him to, he gives him a mail, but also wants him to build these super weapons that he's the one capable of doing it. Because Durant just walks in, even offers him, a couple of women to sleep with, which he does accept. The next day, then Payne, comes to his office again and sees his sister. Him and his sister Lori just saying hi to Peyton, and he introduces herself to him. And then he starts working more with David and Peyton. I do admit they do have kind of like a good friendship here. Yeah, and this is one of the most likely movie, their friendship. The bonding moments, and this is somebody who could help him, and he figures out, that they can, work on this more, and that was, instead of 99 minutes, it could be 173 minutes. Just to get his face back fixed. Yeah. And he's like, and, I do like their bonding, and eventually Peyton and David shake hands, and agree to be partners, on this, to work together. Oh, I guess 3 years, and this thing will pass by. But Peyton, as Darkman, of course, goes back to his underground lab. And he's kind of playing with the cat. He's, when he screams in here, when he gets angry, it just, I don't know, it's just a little too over the top for me. But Liam Neeson, it was perfect. But Peyton, no. But Awful also, no. Just didn't work for me here. But anyway, what I'm talking about is, he's playing with his cat, and he's like, come on, kid, like with a big rat, like it's a toy car. Then he sees on TV something about Willow getting murdered, and further that Durant might actually be alive, and that Durant wants his business because he remembered him being there. knowing that Durant might be alive. Fears that Durant might go after David. He's like, David, no! And then he shows to, get back on his train. But Durant already shows up with his men to bring men and offers them money, but they punch him and beat him up. He's like, gentlemen, I'm gonna beat you up with this weapon, his secret weapon, which, guy employs. I'm like, oh, duh. Okay, you had to keep a weapon around that had to have a plug-in. Should have just built a little mini gun and say, don't threaten me, blow the ass away if you had to. But that doesn't work, so they can have more. And this reminded me of the first movie a bit. Durant cuts his fingers off, like with his lighter, cigar lighter, cuts his fingers off. That's what he does to his victims, because Durant loves to have fingers in his collections. He's that sick. He wants to offer them money, but they won't take it. So they beat him up and they kill him. And right away, Darkman knows that it's him back. That is him back. It's like, Durant! I do like the shot they're adding here of, you can see Frankenstein as he's getting angry. And just imagine. Yes, of course, this scene is like a reminder of the first movie, which they should. I like the character Dave Brinkman, but they had to kill him off. I was thinking, is Brinkman going to become basically Peyton's Robin? Is he going to become Darkman number 2 or something? But meanwhile, Dr. Hathaway ends up being successful in creating the particle beam Michael. Peyton goes to David's lab hoping to scavenge of what's left of his research, but however, Lloyd catches him and asks him to leave. He's like, get out now! He begins to grieve over David's death and swear vengeance, but the thing is, they only were kind of like friends for like one scene, becoming friends, getting to know each other. And he wants revenge. I'm like, okay, it has to give him a reason to go after Durant. Of course, he's going to go after Durant in the movie anyway, but they kind of forced this friendship on the two. I'm like, there's not enough time for that. David died pretty quickly in the movie, so it's not really time for me to care about any of this. I kind of feel like the story's kind of being rushed here a little bit, in my opinion. Payne ends with a reporter named Jill Rando, who reportedly is recording Durant and told her Durant's possible involvement, but she's like, a finger doesn't prove anything. Can't prove that he's alive. Payne just asked her for help, and to contact her. Durant arranges to sell the vigilante to a neo-Nazi led by Mr. Perkins to turn tables on the city's criminal activities, so that if he gives them these weapons, they can take out the competition. Durant says, I want to level the playing field, so that if I can take all the competition out and have them do it for me, I can take them out later, and we can control the city. He's like, you're a genius. You're a genius, Mr. Durant. He's like, indeed I am, Then they have a funeral for David, and then these, the men that were, of course, offered to buy a place to buy his lab, that she's going to sell it to him for the money. And he takes a picture of him, of two of the henchmen. Peyton does. Just so that he can use them as, of course, being Darkman, he's gonna, that's what Darkman does, we're a face of another man. And, of course, the character's named Eddie. Peyton goes to warn her I guess she's working at this club, kind of like this strip club or whatever, or is one of the owners, I guess. But one of them tried to flirt with him, saying, why do you need her when you can play with me? And he's like, I'm too rough. I thought that was kind of a funny moment there. Then he goes to tell her, that Durant's dangerous. Durant ruined his life, and he killed your brother. And he's like, you shouldn't take the money. It's blood money. It's blood money. You shouldn't do it. She's like, well, there's no reason for me to have this. I can only do what I want to do with this money. And she's trying to tell her it's wrong. Durant, you can't trust him. He's a bad man. But of course, she doesn't listen. But of course, she doesn't believe him. But Randall manages to get his mail. She finds out his trade, and they, of course, find out that he is Darkman, and Westlake was. He's like, dead. Part of him is, she says. He's like, why do you have to go after Durant? And then all of us, it goes in this bad acting over the top. It was like, he ruined my life. I want Durant. I want to see him. I want to see him dead. He will keep killing and murdering people until someone kills him, and that someone is going to be me. You say it's a motion scene, but I'm sorry. When it came to those rage scenes or being over the top scenes, Liam Neeson just did it better, in my opinion. When he got angry, it was just done better. With Arnold Colosso, it was just laughable and bad, in my opinion. I just thought it was lame. Didn't really care about that. However, though, Randall says that she can expose Durant on TV. Payne's telling her how to do it. That's not a good idea, but Randall disobeys the warning, and she does it anyway. And her boss gets mad at her, who's been threatening to fire her. And the big boss is like, well, great job, Randall. Keep on doing what you're doing. She tells her boss there, he's like, you're an asshole, bye-bye. And just walks out, and Payne tells her, shouldn't have done that. That wasn't a good idea. She's like, well, I'll just keep doing it anyway. Then she goes in her car, turns it, and blows up. So I guess Durant, you say, put a bomb in her car. But Peyton ends up using the picture of Eddie anyway. He had taken during the funeral, and he, goes in the bathroom, knocks Eddie out. And, they say, sit down, Eddie. And he just, because, become Eddie, because Eddie says, I think she'll be fine with me or something like that. Whatever he said. And he imitates the voice. Just pretend to be him. And he sees Durant walking in, and, he attacks him. And he's like, Westlake. But it's just a fantasy. I'm not really. We had a full fantasy there. Didn't need that. I get it. He wants to kill Durant, but but I don't need a scene of him trying to actually do it and fantasizing about it. But anyway, Lori comes in, she wants to do the signing, but she's like, no, I don't want to do it. I changed my mind. And they say, go get her back, and tries to chase her down, but Peyton has Eddie. She's confused at first. She sees Eddie running, and Westlake, and Peyton, who is, of course, in the disguise of Eddie, but she doesn't know which one. So she stops, and the girl Eddie's like, come on, get out of the car, and they kidnap her, threatening to kill her. And Darkman knows he has to save her now. But the buyers that he has landed up, one of his men go out to get a car, and Darkman pretends to be the mechanic, knocks him out, pretends to be him, and he says, gets these pills that can probably pass around or kill him. He's like, Durant, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. And now that also does have the laugh down of Darkman. But they try to sell these weapons to him. He tries to be careful on the event and just grab it. We see the face, they look boring. This is where, the climax comes into play where Lori is captured. But they find out, but the road guy shows up that he knocked out, which, I don't know, he just didn't kill the guy. But the man pulls his face off and says, he's like, see, Wesley, this man doesn't give me my pills. And they're going to kill them until, they don't cut his finger off. And he just, loses it, snaps. And one of the men they try to sneak around and get him, but he's able to knock him out. It's like, Eddie, come over here. And he kills Eddie. And then, Durant doesn't listen and kills one of his own men. And he takes his mask off. He's like, see you later, piece of face, like, really. That's the best you can come up with. Anyway, before he can do anything, him and Durant fight a little bit. They Doc Brown, Alfred Hathaway, whatever the hell his name is, Doc Brown, they use the weapon. I forget, I got it from my reviews, I'm sorry. But they use the weapon and it works. It is really bad effects. We didn't get more of that later. And you're like, glory, hallelujah, glory. I'm like, shut up. That was just annoying and over the top. But the climax to me was boring, not much really exciting. Yeah, they take some bad guys out decently, but hell, I'm not complaining about the first movie's climax, but the first climax, at least there was some good action in the climax. And Liam Neeson's face and the makeup was brilliant. And the action there, was better done here. Just the makeup was laughable. Larry Drake just seems like he's phasing through the role and looks more like he's bored. And Darkman, I guess, is able to put control of something in his core and is able to blow him up and kill him for good. And he's like, and she's like, thank you, Peyton. He's like, see you later, and then he just walks away. Says that, he vows to continue working on his sentencing skin, and he's like, the guilty, the innocent will always have to suffer because of me. But I'll always face in the dark and the shadows alone. And then it ends there. But that's, not much of a movie. I'm sorry, folks, I really don't remember much of this film. But to give my final opinion on Darkman 2, Return of Durant, put it this way, Darkman 2, Return of Durant. Honestly, this film is just meh, it's okay. All in all, I probably just didn't like this movie too much. Yeah, I just not a fan of this movie. Very disappointing sequel in my opinion. Pretty much a lame sequel. But I didn't hate it. I'm not mad. It didn't give me a headache. I would say it's a time waster, barely. It's a film I'd probably watch on TV. Yeah, I watch this film on Prime Video. It's a film I'd watch on TV, but not worth buying. Things I like about it, well, I do like David Brinkman. I thought the actor was good. I like the friendship between him and Peyton. I think they could have had more of that. I like the train, the train that he drives. And some of the action is decent when it's kind of there, but it's not as great as the first movie. And some of the shots, though, when Darkman, his rage was good. And I like Frankenstein being there. It's random, but I like it. By him pretending to attack, Darkman pretending Mark's guy's to attack. But that just didn't work. But I didn't care for the reportedly. That's all I liked about it, pretty much. I just cannot think of what I liked about this movie. Honestly, it's more than okay. I can't say it's okay. This is just a lame sequel. I didn't care for this movie at all. It's just not much of a movie. This is just a sequel that was made for cash. You tell to. Well, first of all, the casting. Larry Drake, I thought, did alright this time as Robert Drake. He's better than the first movie. But in here, he does look a little bored. I just thought he was awful. Also, I'm sorry, he's terrible. As Darkman, he is very miscast in my opinion. He just doesn't have a great presence, Liam Neeson. I just don't buy him as Darkman. like as Peyton was like, I bought Liam Neeson is just way better. He's more intimidating. The makeup on him looks better. Yeah, but he was just better. I thought Bradford May, did not. I don't think he needed to be a director. Sam Raimi was just there. I guess more as a consultant. Maybe Raimi was just doing it for the paycheck. But the cinematography, the film, it does look good. The cinematography is nice to look at. Some of the special effects, they're very low budget. I know what you're going to say it's direct-to-video level. Well, I'm sure there's other direct-to-video movies out there that have at least good special effects. The special effects in here I thought were just lame. For 1995, I'm sorry, they just don't hold up. They're not some of the worst effects I've seen, but they don't hold up. They're not very good, in my opinion. The first Darkman had a lot of better special effects. Again, in the beginning, we didn't, the start of the movie, we have to recap from the first movie what happened. I've seen the first movie. I know what happened. You don't need to tell me what the hell happened in the first fucking movie. That was just annoying to me. I freaking know it. I've seen the first movie. Yeah, it does annoy me because I'm like, you overreact, and I'm not. It's just overcapping, and Mark Russell's just, his acting is just lame. Sorry, just over the top. Yeah. And the guy who, Doc Brown, he's just very over the top and silly, and when he screams, I always think, oh, hallelujah. It's just very over the top and silly. And the villains, they're just cliche villains. We know they're going to die, and then the cliche reporter, is she a love interest? No, she just dies, okay? The best actor I thought was in the movie was the guy that played David Brinkman, Jesse Collins. I thought he was great. I thought he did a good job. He didn't do many movies. Iron Eagle 2 and Santa Claus. Oh, he was an ad executive in that. So was Tim Allen. Yeah, but he was really good. I thought he was the best actor in the movie. Some of the other actors are fine. Like the main villains, but it's very cliche. You just know what's going to happen. And Brinkman getting killed off is like a copy of the first movie. Like you've seen it before. Oh, Durant wants this building, or he wants this business deal, he wants them to sign his papers. Remind me of the first movie, they want them to sign this paper, or they want this, so Durant and his man go kill him, brutally murder him. Like, I've seen this before. You're just copying the first movie in that scene. And the climax is boring. I nearly almost fell asleep. The climax is very boring. And the makeup for Darkman here, it looks silly. Yeah, it looks like a piece of face. Because Darkman looked more scarier in the first movie. The makeup is so much better on Liam Neeson. Also, it just looks silly. I just was not a fan of this makeup. And special effects look lame. Yeah, it's just a generic, forgettable movie. That's what this movie is. It's forgettable. It just has a few good things. I do think, though, if you wanted to make the sequel better, no Durant. Different villain, different story. I do like the whole fact that he wants to continue with trying to get his face back, his skin back. I wanted to see more of that, more of his friendship with David Brinkman. They should have just focused on that. Him trying to work with this guy during the whole movie, and these bad guys are trying to mess with him, trying to kill his friend, and Darkman has to be a hero and help them out, and they get to know the real him. You could have had something like that. But again, you kill him off. You have a lame story. The story is just lame here. I did not care for the story at all. There's just not enough time for me to care about David's death. And, he wanted revenge. I'm like, well, these men only known each other for what? Two days at least? Or maybe a week? Not very long for me to care, They just kill him off. I'm like, I think you could have done a lot more with David Brinkman character instead of killing him off. Could have a good friendship there. I guess I like the friendship with him and Darkman, with him and Peyton. But again, with a better cast member, have a better villain, better effects, better story. Yeah, it just could have been an awesome sequel if they had tried a little harder. I wish Liam Neeson came back. It probably would have been a better movie. Sam Raimi didn't direct. Having that, to me, Darkman is a great classic movie. It's a great film, and it's lightning in the bottle. And this is one of the sequels that proves that you can't capture lightning in a bottle twice. Yeah, there is no lightning in the bottle here. Yeah, it's more like the lightning that destroyed it. But lame sequel. Did not care for Darkman 2. I'm not going to say this is a rant, because I fully don't hate this movie. Or maybe I'll put a review / rant, because I did complain about some things, but didn't care for this film. Lame sequel. It is a review / rant, but I don't fully hate this movie. Just a few minor things I liked. David Brinkman, his friendship with Peyton. And some of the action is decent. But everything else about it, and I thought Larry Drake did fine. Did alright. I just felt like he was a little bored of the movie, and like we didn't really need to see him again. It is really unrealistic for him to come back to life, which didn't make sense. I know, again, it's a movie. It's fantasy, folks. I know. Movies are fantasy. I know that. But you didn't need Durant coming back. You know. I want different villains. You know. I don't need another one coming back. It just doesn't work sometimes like that. But anyway, Darkman 2, Durant, lame sequel. I'm giving it a thumbs down. I'm not rating for this film. Since I like a few things about it, I'll give it 2 out of 5 stars. For Darkman 2, Durant, thumbs down from me. And if you like this sequel, to each his own. If you think it's better than the first movie, I disagree with you 100%. And if you think that's fine, that's cool. But if you like this sequel, we can agree to disagree. And there was some spoilers in here, so I hope you didn't see this movie. I wouldn't recommend seeing it. If you see it, just watch it on TV. Don't waste your money on buying it. It's not worth a film worth buying. It's just a generic, forgettable, lame sequel. Just, yeah. Yeah, 99 minutes and you just want to disintegrate it. So, you know, just like Darkman's face when it disintegrates. But, yeah, just a lame sequel. Didn't care for this movie. Didn't start off as a rant, but it just became one. But anyway, guys, stay tuned. Hopefully today I'll do another review. Maybe 2 more. I don't know. Because I feel like it, because I'm in the mood to review some movies today. Hopefully I'll be reviewing the third film. Next, hopefully, will be Darkman 3, Die Darkman Die. Yep, so this will be next. That is the last Darkman review I'm doing. Thankfully, they didn't do any more Darkman sequels after this. It was just one more movie to go and done with Darkman. But anyway, tell me what you think of Darkman 2, The Return of Durant, and I will see you in my next review. Stay tuned for that day for Darkman 3, Die Darkman Die. So that's next. So guys, tell me what you think about this movie in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.